This is Dave, a patron at the Mike Mandel show on Friday night in the Hamilton Place Studio Theater, part of the packed crowd. He would volunteer to be on stage and participate in some of Mike Mandel's hypnosis show. Mike uses nothing more than the power of suggestion and his rapier wit to guide his volunteers through increasingly ludicrous mental excursions, each displaying a brilliant sense of imagination and creativity. For example, start by falling into a deep trance. Relax in a tropical island.
I really enjoy the warmth of the surroundings and the tropical sun after so much cold winter.
Have increasingly uncomfortable underwear. Then believe your shoes are really gloves.
That's better, isn't it?
Typically working with up to 30 volunteers from the audience, Mike Mandel is able to cause otherwise rational people to see, do, and believe totally ridiculous things. The emphasis is always on entertainment. TheSpec.com caught up with Mike just before showtime.
How did you discover your talent or skill?
Well, it was one of those strange things. Actually, I was interested in hypnosis ever since I was a kid, and got a book on it when I was maybe 12, 13, and found I had a knack for it. And I started hypnotizing my friends and getting them in and out of trances, pretty poorly at first, but it gradually got better and better. I got better at it with a little bit of practice. And January 1975, it became a full-time job, at least as full-time as this is. And that's what I've been doing ever since, 32 years on the road.
And how many shows a year do you do approximately?
It's all over the map. If I feel like I'm working too much, I cut back a bit. If I feel like I'm not working enough, I tell the agents and they get me working more. The most I ever did was 164 in 1 year. But that was insane. I mean, I never want to do that again.
Now you've picked your, what do we call them, victims? Your participants?
Well, we call them that, but not on TV.
Okay, well we'll cut that.
Okay, we edit that, right?
The participants that you get in your show are from the studio audience.
Getting a glare off the watch? This one, okay. From the studio audience, that's right. All the participants are volunteers. So that's one of the things people are concerned about. They think, oh no, I'd love to go to that kind of thing, but what if he gets me up on stage? And, you know, I don't just go and grab somebody out of the audience and throw some kind of trance on them. It isn't like that. They have to want to be up there to begin with. They have to volunteer, and by volunteering, they are then halfway there to going into a trance, and I work with them. The two of us together create the hypnotic state. I don't do it. It's both of us.
Excellent. Now, do you find there's a certain demographic that works or doesn't work, like seniors or...
It works best on those who are good hypnotic subjects, not surprisingly.
That narrows it down.
It's a brilliant line. I just wrote that then. I am a comic genius. No charge. You know, it goes right across the board. Male, female, young, old, except, having said that, there's always exceptions. Hypnotizability tends to decrease with age. So after 50s, 60s, 70s, it starts tapering off and people aren't quite as susceptible to it. Kids are the easiest subjects in the world.
You've done this a lot now. Is there anything that still surprises you on stage? Did anything happen?
Well, every night it surprises me. I mean, it really does. It still freaks me out. Every single time I do a show, there's something that will blow my mind. You know, you never know quite what they're going to do. And I remember one of my favorite bits now is making birds appear. And it's really funny because you're talking to people, they're wide awake, you know, ostensibly normal, and a minute later, they're calling invisible words that they can see down to land on their finger, and they can describe it. Oh, this is a bluebird, and his name is Chubby. How long you had him? I've had him for 3 months now, and okay, put him away safe, and they put him in their clothes, or he runs up their sleeve, and then you turn it into an eagle, and it's hilarious, because Chubby flies away, and they're calling Chubby back, but all of a sudden, he's got 6-foot wingspan, he's a golden eagle, and they're trying to get away from Chubby now. It's great stuff. It still amazes me, the depth of response that can be created with just simple linguistic shifts.
What is it that's on stage? What motivates you now each night to do this? Obviously, it's not the same every show because you have different participants, but
right.
What is it that really gets you going, or what do you look forward to most in your show?
It's kind of a funny thing because I've said for years, I never feel like going on stage. Not because I mind, it just always feels like too much trouble. And then at the moment I'm on stage, there's nowhere on earth I'd rather be. It's like anybody going to your job, right? It's, oh man, it's Monday morning, gotta go to work again. But when you get in the groove, you start to really enjoy it. With hypnosis shows, it's the same. Very often I'll be driving there thinking, man, I wish I had the night off. 10 minutes into the show, there's nowhere I'd rather be than on that stage and working a good audience.
So what would you say to the cynics that would say, well, it's all just show?
All hypnosis is self-hypnosis anyway. And it's been an accepted medical modality since the 1950s in both the United States and Canada. It's been used to de-traumatize very rapidly and a number of other things that are very, very well established. So hypnosis is a fact, the same as gravity. Not everyone is a good hypnotic subject, though. The best subjects want to be good hypnotic subjects because they have to open that willingness in order to enable me to get in and push the buttons.
And what happens after the buttons are pushed? I asked Dave what he thought of the show.
Not much. I don't remember much. No.
He'd remember everything before he left the theater.
Well, Mike, what I'd like then to do is
Yes.
perhaps we can give an example of your hypnosis. Do you think you could hypnotize me to make me do something wacky like you do in your show?
Okay, you want to give this a shot? Suppose I get you to itch uncontrollably and then apologize profusely.
Okay.
No, I haven't actually done it yet.
Sorry.
Profusely.
This is Jody for thespec.com. I'm sorry I'm itchy. I'm really sorry.